In 1961, Walt Disney invited the world into such a place, a cinematic land stitched with fantasy, musical charm, and childlike wonder. This place was called Toyland. Inspired by the 1903 operetta by Victor Herbert, Babes in Toyland, 1961, wasn't just a movie, it was a handcrafted portal designed long before CGI green screens and digital trickery. Everything you see, every character, every costume, every prop, and every performance was born from imagination, sweat, and practical artistry. So sit back and discover 20 hidden facts you probably never knew about Babes in Toyland, 1961, the Disney fantasy classic that shaped childhood memories across generations. Fact 1. The movie that Disney saw as his Christmas crown. Before Mary Poppins or Bedknobs and Broomsticks, Walt Disney envisioned Babes in Toyland as his ultimate holiday masterpiece, a movie that would become a timeless Christmas tradition for families. Disney didn't originally just see it as another fantasy musical, he believed it could stand beside Snow White and Cinderella as a holiday classic that returned every year like Christmas lights. Although it never reached the critical success Walt wished for, the movie found its audience through time, becoming a nostalgic comfort rather than a chart-topping blockbuster. Fact 2. A risky replacement for Disneyland's Lost project. Originally, Disney had dreams of building a full-sized Babes in Toyland attraction inside Disneyland. His plan involved a large Toyland village filled with giant storybook sets and walking toy characters. But when the cost estimates soared, the theme park build was cancelled, and the script was shifted toward a feature film instead. So technically the movie you saw was born because the theme park version was too expensive, making the film a creative plan B turned cinematic reality. Fact 3. Mary Poppins' success shadowed Toyland. When Babes in Toyland was released, Disney had already begun preparing Mary Poppins, which had much stronger story potential, musical depth, and star power. Within just a few years, Mary Poppins became the musical crown jewel of Disney history, unintentionally overshadowing Babes in Toyland. Some Disney historians believe the studio stopped promoting Toyland early because they wanted Poppins to receive full attention. Fact 4. Annette Funicello was Walt Disney's personal choice. Annette Funicello, who played Mary Contrary, wasn't just another actress auditioning for a role. She was Walt Disney's favorite Mouseketeer, a young talent he personally admired and named his studio daughter. When producers suggested other casting options, Walt reportedly said, "Mary Contrary belongs to Annette, no one else can touch that role." His choice wasn't based on stardom, it was based on trust, charm, and loyalty. Fact 5. The villain was almost too scary for Disney standards. Ray Bolger, famous for playing the Scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz, took on the role of Barnaby, the movie's greedy cartoon-styled villain. But early costume and makeup tests made him appear far darker and menacing than Disney intended. Executives worried children would find him nightmare fuel, so his character was redesigned to appear silly evil instead of horror evil, proving that even villains must be Disney approved. Fact 6. Tom was originally written much older. Gene Sheldon played Tom Piper, the romantic partner of Mary Contrary. But interestingly, earlier scripts described Tom as much older, closer to a mature man rather than a youthful fairy tale partner. The storyline was rewritten to make the film more appealing to young audiences and to create a more storybook-like romance matching classic Disney musical formulas. Fact 7. The movie used handcrafted miniature worlds. Toyland wasn't just a film set, it was an architectural masterpiece. Disney's team built miniature towns, toy structures, moving environments, and oversized furniture that made actors appear tiny or enormous depending on the scene. These handcrafted sets took months to build and were created with techniques similar to model train dioramas way before digital shrinking was possible. Every toy house was real wood and paint, not plastic props. Fact 8. The Soldier March was filmed like a real army drill. One of the most iconic sequences from the movie is the March of the Toy Soldiers. Disney hired military marching coordinators to train actors and puppeteers so that the scene matched real parade formation precision, but with toy-like stiffness. Every step was practiced repeatedly until zero-emotion robotic movement was achieved, proving that sometimes appearing simple requires extreme training. Fact 9. The music wasn't fully original. Although Disney created new musical adaptations, many musical themes were taken from Victor Herbert's 1903 operetta. But instead of direct copying, Walt added modern arrangements, children-friendly lyrics, and visual storytelling timing, making the soundtrack more playful and cinematic. The end result became a remix of vintage theater and magical Disney melody. Fact 10. A costume budget that shocked Disney's team. Disney is known for investing heavily in costumes, but Babes in Toyland pushed boundaries. The movie featured hand-tailored embroidery-rich and color-driven costumes that cost far more than standard film wardrobes of the era. Some dresses required jewel stitching, layered fabrics, and stage-grade sewing rather than cheaper movie costume construction. Today, collectors estimate that if the exact outfits were remade now, the cost would exceed modern luxury fashion budgets. Fact 11. Filmed on the same lot as other Disney classics, several Toyland scenes were filmed inside Stage 2 at Walt Disney Studios, the same stage later used for Mary Poppins and other major films. This studio space became legendary because it was optimized for musical choreography, artificial weather, and complex props including wind effects and practical magic tricks. Toyland helped shape the technical blueprint for future Disney musicals. Fact 12. Use forced perspective before Lord of the Rings made it famous. When audiences saw characters appear tiny beside giant toys, it wasn't visual editing, it was forced perspective, the same illusion technique later used in The Lord of the Rings to show hobbits appearing smaller than humans. Disney's team mastered this decades earlier using camera placement, oversized props, and precise actor blocking. Toyland is quietly one of Hollywood's early illusion pioneers. Fact 13. The movie boosted Disneyland toy sales. After the movie's release, Disneyland launched Babes in Toyland-themed merchandise, including toy soldiers' hats, dolls, and illustrated storybooks. Although the movie wasn't a massive theatrical hit, the merchandise sold surprisingly well, especially during the December shopping season, indirectly turning the film into a Christmas retail success story. Fact 14. Annette received direct support from Walt on set. Walt Disney didn't usually spend extended time on film sets, but for Babes in Toyland he regularly visited to personally coach, encourage, and guide Annette Funicello. She later shared that Walt's presence made her feel safe, valued, and creatively inspired, describing him as the father figure every young performer dreamed of.
This is another one of your inventions? Yes. Shoot me.
Fact 15. The mind behind the movie had Hollywood musical DNA. The film's director Jack Donahue wasn't just a filmmaker, he had a long history in Broadway choreography and Hollywood musicals, working with major stars like Frank Sinatra. This is why the movie feels like a theatrical stage show translated onto film rather than a typical fantasy movie. Fact 16. Ray Bolger's dance scenes were not fully scripted. Ray Bolger's signature quirky dance movements came from his own creativity and improvisation. The director allowed him to adjust scenes based on spontaneous dance ideas, giving Barnaby a flexible, unpredictable, almost cartoonish performance style, making him both villain and comedian. Fact 17. Disney wanted to show real childhood innocence. The story was structured around pure-hearted characters avoiding modern themes of violence, romance, intensity, or psychological darkness. Walt Disney wanted the movie to feel like a Christmas morning dream, pure enough that any child of any age could watch it without discomfort. Even when danger appears, it remains storybook safe rather than traumatic, following Disney's Golden Age philosophy. Fact 18. Practical effects over visual effects at all costs. Instead of optical tricks or heavy editing effects like shrinking characters, giant shoes, moving toys, animated soldiers, magic transitions were created using hand-operated mechanics, pulley systems, hidden wires, and physical stage designs. The movie was basically a musical magic show filmed through a camera lens, not a digital illusion. Fact 19. The toy soldiers became American cultural icons. Although the movie wasn't a top-ranking blockbuster, the marching toy soldier design became permanently linked with Christmas parades, especially at Disney theme parks. The annual Disneyland Christmas Parade still features modern descendants of the 1961 toy soldiers, making them one of the longest-lasting Disney visual traditions. Fact 20. The movie found its real fame through television, not theaters. When the film finished its theatrical run, it didn't immediately become legendary. Instead, it slowly built popularity through decades of holiday TV broadcasts, especially during the 1970s to early 1990s, turning it into a nostalgia-powered Christmas comfort film. By the time home video and DVD arrived, Babes in Toyland already had a cult-like retro fanbase, cementing it as a holiday season memory rather than a box office legend. It is not simply a movie from 1961. Toyland may not exist on any map, but it still lives inside nostalgic hearts where childhood never dies. A Toyland that lives forever.